Welcome back to our Auburn football recruiting and transfer portal junkies. We have another commitment and signee to talk about with you today on the offensive side of the ball this time. And yes, in that also talked about quarterback room, we're going to give you the facts that you need to know, the quick ones, and of course, what it means for this person and for Auburn football going forward. Before we do that, I want to welcome you here at E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience. My name's Kyle. If you don't know me, make sure that you're subscribed and following on whichever platform you're on. And of course, smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content. As I said, we're getting back to the offensive side of the ball after 2 in a row in the 5th and 6th picks up of being in the defensive side of the ball. This 7th one overall at the time of his commitment is quarterback Ashton Daniels, one that has been talked about for quite some time in the transfer portal for Auburn. Got to Auburn early for a visit. There's been a lot of speculation that he was going to commit, and finally, he did so even after another quarterback already committed and signed with the Tigers. So most of you know a lot about him already, so I'm giving you a lot of just brush over of details. Comes to us from Stanford, played for the Stanford Cardinal, not the Cardinals, always get that wrong. Daniels is listed at about 215, 6'2", so he's a little bit bigger of a quarterback, but is still known for his running ability. And he's had some mixed stats and stuff like that, which we'll get into a little bit. But I think it's interesting to point out here that he's from Buford, Georgia, not too far from the Atlanta area and not too far from Auburn, Alabama. So I think when you start asking the questions, well, why would you come to a place where there's already another bigger name, or at least a equally big name in the transfer portal discussions that's already signed and committed and signed with Auburn? Well, this is probably an opportunity in his last couple of years of eligibility to come back and play close to home. I think that makes a lot of sense, and he'll certainly have an opportunity to compete for the starting job at quarterback, because it's basically just a complete washover at this point, and everybody's got a fair shot at it. The trick is apparently he's not going to be able to come to Auburn until after spring, so that's definitely going to put him a little bit behind the 8 ball. But if he wins out the starting job, that should tell you something, that maybe he is the best one for Auburn going forward. Let's look at some of the stats, though, so that you guys can have some information about him and know a little bit more about him. We look at ESPN for this, like I said, been with Stanford for the last 3 years, and he will have some stats that you can look at a lot of different places. We'll just look at last year. 170 completions and 271 attempts for 62.7 completion, 1,700 yards, exactly, 6.3 per throw, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions with a long of 62, and an overall rating of 118.7 for him, as ESPN has him listed. Now, my understanding, he is listed as a junior at Stanford, only playing 3 years there. I guess he technically could have 2 if he wanted to, but I kind of get the picture that this is his last little swan song playing back at home. That is my own speculation and interpretation into that. But certainly, Auburn needed some bodies in the quarterback room. So let's talk about that. What does it mean for him? What does it mean for Auburn football? We start on the transfer portal class discussion first. We already talked about that he is the 7th overall, and he will be the 2nd quarterback in this discussion, and the 5th offensive side of the ball transfer portal guy so far. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about this quarterback room when we talk about what it means for Auburn football, and we've already kind of handled it a little bit here. Is he coming in to start right away? I get the feeling that it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to do that, given that he's coming in late, given the fact that there's a lot of hype and discussion around Jackson Arnold, and also Deuce Knight as well. So those 3 guys right there are obviously going to have an equal shot on just where we're standing right now, but coming in late is going to be a little bit, put him, as I said, behind the 8 ball. So at this moment, my anticipation is that he is probably not going to start to go, but we'll talk about it, and we'll look at it as the offseason continues. But the bigger question is, with this commitment, is Auburn football done at the quarterback position? Well, if you look at what Coach Freeze has said as he likes for scholarship quarterbacks, you only have 3 at this point. So there is a spot available with everybody else gone now from last year. So if we go with that logic, it would tell you we ain't done yet. Where are we going is anybody's guess. But for now, we welcome Ashton Daniels to the Auburn family and look forward to how he's going to contribute on the offensive side of the ball and in that quarterback room. Let us know your thoughts down there in the comments section below. Thanks for hanging out with us here at E2C Network, where we share the Auburn experience. War Eagle.